Let's go. Welcome to the Season 4 End of the Year Booster Press Conference. We invite the boosters into the press room to fire off their questions, concerns, tips, tricks, what they want to see in Season 5, any questionable decisions. Now is the time we bring the Wyoming football to the forefront. We've added another Mountain West championship, as evident is down there. And we're back in this. Let's jump right into the questions. These were all submitted by live boosters. First and foremost, here we go.
Hey, Dan, this is Booster Jay Felk.
Jay Felk from the West Coast.
As a head coach with a 5-year tenure, how do you plan to keep invested and excited? You know, what things are on the horizon for you to keep dialed in to that Wyoming level of play? Thanks, Coach.
Yo, Jay Felk, appreciate you heading up the booster chapter in California. Appreciate it. So in terms of staying dialed, you know, when you love what you do right now, it's a joy every day to pull into the football building in Laramie. You know, what are we looking forward to? More 4- and 5-star recruits, more championships. Now, we operate in 4-year plans. 4-year plan number 1, that's done. Now, in the next 4 years, I don't want to throw out the national championship yet, but the next 4 years have not been outlined publicly. But I will say this: looking for more BCS, looking to make a move conference-wise, starting in Season 5. That's about all we're at. We're working on the negotiations right now. Next question.
Hey, Coach, longtime booster Chris Cerullo here.
Double C's.
Congrats on the greatest season in program history.
It is. Thank you.
My first question is,
how do you run your sets?
Do you think the Pac-12 makes the most sense for the program to move to geographically and within regards to recruiting? And my second question is, I've heard on the grapevine that there might be some programs in, say, the Big 12 or the SEC that have called trying to get you to leave Wyoming.
Know about that?
And I just want to make sure that as a booster that you stay and run your sets.
Yo, Chris, appreciate the question. First and foremost, in terms of, I got some concerns, you know, about moving the team to a new conference recruiting-wise, because all of a sudden we're not going head-to-head. No disrespect against San Diego State, San Jose State, Nevada. Like, we're going against some big-time programs, so all of a sudden to get some Jimmies and Joes that want to come play, it's going to be, I think, a little bit difficult. Geographically, I think there's a couple conferences that make sense, but recruiting number 1 is always the number 1 of the program. It's not about the X's and O's. Do we have the Jimmies and Joes that can run the X's and O's? Second question, I will not have any comment on at this time. There's, you know, there are some contracts with high dollar amounts on the table. And I'm not saying I wouldn't leverage that to get a better deal out of Wyoming, but I think boosters should rest assured, as long as the Wyoming athletic department makes me as we are currently the least paid head coach in the Mountain West Conference, you know, maybe when we move to another conference, that'll change. But, you know, it's never say never we'll entertain all offers. I think that's fair to say. Next question.
What are the chances next season that
Getting right into
when we're up at half by a big amount because of Bigelow's efforts, we can sub in a new halfback in the second half, a little bit younger, so that way we have someone to build the program on that has a little bit of experience under his belt instead of just giving it to Biggs every time?
Yo, Tom, I appreciate that's an extremely valid question. You know, one of our concerns as a head coach is always the health of our players. At the same time, you know, you got to understand we're up 21 at halftime. You look Biggs in the face. You look him right in his eyes. You think that wild man wants to come out of the game? Nah. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell a kid, hey, you're sitting. And but I do think, you know, one thing we can get better on in Season 5 is doing some sprinkling, get some players some more reps at the same time. You know, when you got the road eaters up front and Biggs, it's hard. You know, and I think we sprinkled Dr. X in there, but to your point, we didn't do much development in the running back position group this time. We didn't. I think that's something to be a cause for concern in Season 5, but I'm confident in our running back coach. Next question.
Coach Dan Gheesling, congratulations on the best season ever in Wyoming history.
Let's go.
First and foremost, once again, amazing season. I'm sorry, but Biggs is going to the NFL. Secondarily, Pac-12, baby. Nowhere else. No Big 10, no Big 12, Pac-12. High-powered offenses. That's what we are. That's what we're going to do. Go Pac-12, baby. Let's go, Wyo. Let's go. Run your sets.
So first and foremost, thank you so much for calling us from a wind tunnel. I appreciate it. Thank you. By the way, it was the best season in program history. Also, boosters came out in record numbers across the board and set a single season, single game record. Notre Dame 450 plus in each envelope for the players. You know, we talk about running our sets, but I think this season, season 4, has been the highest number of sets run from the boosters, so thank you so much. Pac-12 is definitely, you know, they're making an attractive offer for us to leave the Mountain West, but we're going to put all offers on the table and make a decision there. Next question.
Good afternoon, Coach Dan.
Hey.
Loyal Booster Mooglos here.
Moog, what's going on?
I want to congratulate you on an incredible season. Well played.
Hey, thank you.
I think that a lot of the boosters will have different favorites this season. But for me, no one gave me as much of a breath of fresh air as CJ crack open a
cold one.
As we all know, after our defense does what it does best, we wash down that good work with a refreshing cold on. My question to you is this. If CJ is a cool, refreshing drink, which Wild Cowboy is a hot cup of fresh coffee? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, you know what? You crack open a cold on. He iced those return units. You know, the kickoff team coming at him, he iced them. Punt team coming at him, he iced them. So if the question is if cold on is a cold on, who's a hot cup of coffee? I think you got to look at someone. You know, like when you touch them, you know, and I'm talking on the field. You know, when you touch them, people are just bouncing off them left and right. I think exiting this season, I think Prater. You know, I think Prater was a big body out there. He's a hot cup of coffee. You can count on him on those 7 to 10 yard routes. He's going to catch everyone. He's going to have a few people bounce off of him. So I would say Prater. You know, I would have to think of a hot beverage that rhymes with Prater, but. We'll keep an eye out for that in season 5. Interesting question. Next question.
What is your overall reaction to Sampson's first year as a starting quarterback? And also, what are some improvements he can make building on to next year, even though he had a run-heavy offense this year?
Good question. So, what did I think Sampson did well this year? I think he matured a lot off the field. You saw what happened. Yeah, I mean, you don't need me to outline his progression from game 1 to the Rose Bowl, just monumental. And I give our offensive coordinator, our quarterbacks coach, big kudos on that, you know, because Sampson was pretty raw. That redshirt year really helped him. I know a lot of boosters didn't understand it, but I think now hopefully you understand it. In terms of things he's got to work on, I think he benefited a lot from a great defense. You know, we made some mistakes, and he'll be the first one to say that. And also, you know, Bigelow and a monumental offensive line. So I think we're going to ask more of him in season 5. We're going to revamp the playbook as we do every year. You know, we clinic with some other coaches. You know, we'll get with Dabo Sweeney's staff a little bit. We'll trade some ideas. We'll get with our good buddy Nick. You know, we'll swap some ideas around, and I think in season 5 you can expect to see a little bit. We're going to institute a little bit of West Coast offense. I'm going to reach back into my contacts, and I'm going to get in touch with Coach Mariucci. You know, really big into the West Coast offense. And if you didn't know that we had a pretty good working relationship, there's a little insight here for you, just a little bit of insight. All right, now look, our sports information director, I didn't know that they had this prep. This was supposed to stay buried in the archives. But, you know, I guess that at the end of the season, sometimes they like to have some fun with it. So let's just take a look at this.
Didn't we have a long pole so this guy doesn't have to carry that board? Look at him. Look at that poor guy. We don't pay him
That's a good-looking guy.
How about a long pole so he can stick it on there and it's like this? It's been a month. Can't we get it fixed?
Look at Dan. He's trying to keep up. We got a better board now. We have progressed to a better board than this.
We're going to have a sign that has the play. Everybody's got to know what the play is, Mike, okay? I'm watching 322Y stick, huh?
322Y stick. Still remember that. Look at that handwriting.
The quarterback gives the huddle to play, but that's all. This is for the other guys that are standing in the back.
What's the play, man?
You got to hide it. You got to show it, then you got to hide it. You got to run your sets, even at a young age for the NFL.
It's like a cheat sheet, you know? So then the board guys got to be good and not let the defensive guys see this.
2-jet, I'll go. You wonder why we like to go all goals, all verts.
He's grown into this job, too.
Hey, thanks, Coach. I can't believe we let that out. Are we supposed to let that out of the bag like that? NFL footage, us working as an intern for the Lions. And we wanted to keep that, you know, the conflict of interest with some of our players starting to get drafted by the Lions. Anyway, so you know, I'm gonna dial up, you know, Coach Mariucci. We're gonna get some of those West Coast concepts in there a little bit. Anyways, thank you for the question. Let's go to the next question. You never know what you're gonna get in a press conference.
The boosters are curious if the rumors out of Laramie are true. In an atmosphere of constant talk of conference realignment, is it true that Wyoming is making the move to the Big 12? We know the Big 12 commissioner and you are close. So, where will you be running your sets next season?
Thunder Kent Quali, longtime booster of the programs beyond Wyoming. You know, Big 12's in the mix, Pac-12's in the mix. My agent, you know, who handles all the negotiations, says, wouldn't it be interesting if over the duration of your career, you made a stop at every Power 5, you win a Power 5 conference championship, you win a national championship out of that Power 5, and you do it again and again. I said, hey, look, we're taking this for 4 years at a time. But in terms, you know, the rumors, I cannot substantiate any rumors. All I can say is we are fielding all offers from all commissioners. Even though I was the roommate of the current head of the Big 12 in college at Michigan State, that will not affect where we're going. Next question.
Let's go, Coach. I got to say, Biggs, man, he's looking a little shaken up after that last game with those 2 fumbles. It's not like him. I think
you're talking to the Doak Walker Award winner.
Talk to him about stuff, get his head right. But I trust in Biggs. I know he's got us.
Got to trust Biggs.
Another thing, Samson, man, he's itching to show that arm off. I can tell. He just wants to let those balls fly. So if we could get some more passing plays in, I think that Samson would appreciate that. Another thing, those T-shirts are looking crisp, man. Those are some quality products. I can tell. Oh, and that banter with Kirk, that's some quality TV right there. That's some good stuff. So just keep up the good work, Coach, and go Cowboys.
Hey, Mike, I appreciate it. You know, one thing we don't talk about, the Run Your Set shirts are available. They are naturally sourced, produced in Laramie, Wyoming with homegrown, a synthetic blend. But every one of them is made in Wyoming. Not really, but for the sake of the press conference, go get yourself one. Thanks for the question. I'll tell you what, West Coast offense, you're going to see some hints of it in Season 5. Next question.
Coach Gheesling, Booster Samurai Fuchs here.
Samurai.
I didn't get a questioning last season.
That's because you've been sleeping on
I'm glad that I didn't miss the boat this time. My biggest question for you, Coach, is what do you think the biggest difference has been between this season and the previous seasons where you seem to have a fair amount of trouble against competition, the levels of, say, an LSU or Notre Dame?
All right, good question. What do I think the difference is? Couple things. Number one thing, experience. We've got some players that now have been in our system. They've been running their sets. They know what running their sets is. Part number two, OKG. We got our kind of guys in the system. Not to say that the previous head coach didn't recruit well, because, you know, we got a couple goodies in there. However, Season 5, they're all our guys. They're all our recruits from top to bottom. So I think that's helped. And number 4, the boosters now. We've got a booster community. Year 1, they're like, hey, what is this? Year 2, like, I'm starting to get it. Year 3, I'm like, all right, they're dialed in. Year 4, when we look to the crowd against a big-time opponent, they start chanting, run your sets. That's people understand what's expected to develop a legendary dynasty. So, and to the flip side, expectations are large. But I'd say experience and OKGs. Next question.
Hey, Coach, Loyal Booster here.
Yo.
I was in the stands year 1, week 1.
I remember that,
Nebraska,
Adam.
And I don't miss a game, home or away.
I appreciate
For the last
that.
2 seasons, we've only had 5 home games. And these plane tickets are not cheap. They're really starting to add up. So I was hoping we could get some more home games on the schedule in the next few seasons.
So, Adam, you know, sometimes in these press conferences, you learn a lot. But a lot of the times I learn a lot. If you told me we only had 5 home games in the past 2 seasons, you know what? I believe you. And I know those plane tickets are adding up, but sometimes to go build a program, you got to go take someone else's. Take bits and pieces of it. And the only way you do that is to go to their place and go get a big win. I will say this, Adam, when we're taking our scheduling for season 5, we'll set you up a nice home game. All right? Just, you know, you get your nice tailgate set up, get your popcorn, your beverages. Yeah. Look, I know we ask a lot of the boosters, you know. I feel like we maybe tapped out all the boosters and a lot of them ran out of gas to get to the Rose Bowl. We'll get you some more home games. I promise you that. Next question. That's a good one.
Hey there, Coach. Just want to give a shout out and say congratulations on your back-to-back-to-back championship
It's not
wins.
mine. It's ours.
Congratulations to our boys for going out there and running they set so well.
Let's go.
And a big shout out to all the other boosters out there, you know, supporting the program. You know, we want to see y'all do well. Just a quick question, please.
I like this guy. I like all the
What practical steps do you intend to take to make this YO team a little bit more balanced towards both running and passing? You know, it's just wondering what your thoughts are, what practical measures you're going to take. Thank you very much for your time. Keep cracking open a cold on, boys.
Alec, thank you for dialing in. I know you've done a little contract work for the local ESPN affiliates. I know you've been the sideline reporter on some games, and I think some of the boosters recognize you. But to answer your question, he's putting us on the spot a little bit. He's asking for practicality, meaning we can't just give, you know, one of these nice answers that sound nice. He wants to know specifically what are we going to do. I'm going to get with Coach Mariucci. We're going to institute at least 1 to 2 new formations and new West Coast sets, which means we may have to go a little bit of a pro backfield to make that happen, or definitely go under center. So I think that's step 1, and I think step number 2 is we pride ourselves on being balanced. And let's be honest, this past season we were not balanced. We were heavily weighted because of Bigelow's success. And I think sometimes you got to ride the wave that you're on. You can't always force a square peg into a banana-shaped hole. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and spread the ball out a little bit. But I think if you were to characterize our team, it's around a couple things. Play great defense, run the ball, play action. Now, we could slide a little fourth one in there, short passing game, but we'll see what we're doing. Next question.
Hello, Dan. Faithful booster from Canada here. I have a quick question to ask. So you've been spending the whole season talking about your disdain for the CFL, but would you consider sending us Shane Bees at the end of the season? We think we can make a great use of him, and since you won't be needing him to run your sets anymore, you could send him down to Canada.
I'll tell you what, you know, Chambers came in my office at the end of the season, says, Coach, you think I have a shot? And I said, what do you mean? What kind of shot? He's like, can I play at the next level? And you know, I'm always honest with my players. You know, so to look a kid in the face and you know, he's not NFL material, but I knew there were some boosters out there, had some connections to CFL. Could he be a Grey Cup winner? A Grey Cup is the Super Bowl of Canada. You know, I think he could be maybe an Argonaut. You know, maybe a Rough Rider. I'd tell him, hey, go sign yourself up in the CFL. I believe every CFL team can have 2 American players, so I'm going to tell him to go play some CFL ball. And I would hope that maybe the Argonauts would pick him up. Great question. Next question.
Coach, I can't thank you enough for the work you put in this year.
I can't thank you enough for
repeat. That's Cowboy football right there.
That is Cowboy football.
That's how you get the envelopes in here with all my cash. However, as a loyal booster, it's taken my hard-earned money away from my children. To see this program succeed. My kids are starving, Dan.
No.
You know what they have for snacks?
Kids eat free.
Ice cubes.
Kids eat
All
free
because of this
at
program.
Laramie.
So having said that, I'm ashamed, embarrassed, insulted. I mean, it's making me sick to the pit of my stomach, Dan. How the red carpet is laid out for the offense each week in, week out, year in, year out.
I know where he's going with this one.
Gets scraps. When you and I know that if you run your sets, the defense will win you that championship. Now, having said that, will we see a little more of the defense on year 5?
All right, Caesar, first and foremost, in case you didn't know, kids eat free whenever they come to the stadium. Hot dogs, popcorn, even a slice of pizza. Tell them Coach sent you. So, you got number one, you always got to take care of your family. Number 2, defense will win you championships, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Offense, big numbers, bombing it with Sampson, trucking people with Bigelow. That's what puts people in the seats. So, yeah, we wear many different hats as a head coach. We recruit. We do admin work. We call plays. We make sure we got the right Jimmies and Joes. We make sure that there's a great 5-for-1 ticket deal. Everyone in the family gets a popcorn for free. Now, in addition to that, we also got to help put people in the seats. So we got to have a lot of the focus, the television time, the interviews, all centered around the offense. Now, when the game's on the line, it doesn't matter what unit's out there. We're going to cover them. But we can sprinkle a little more defense in there. Next question.
If the reports are true and Biggs does declare for the draft, what's your plan on finding your new running back? I don't know if Valladay is a senior.
Valladay is a senior. Dr. X is gone.
If he is a senior, who's gonna be that guy that can take Biggs' spot?
Yo, thank you so much for dialing in. I appreciate the question. If he declares for the NFL draft, because Biggs is a junior, part of our first recruiting class. If he declares for the NFL, consider that to be the most massive question mark in the program's history since Chambers versus Sampson. I don't have an answer for it. I know we got Henry. We got Henry a little bit here. We got Henry in the. We moved him. We moved him around a little bit. I don't know if he's going to stick around. We could take a look at it here. I'm about that. We can take a look at this. So here's what our halfback sets look like. So we got Biggs. He's a junior. Hopefully he stays All-American. Valladay's gone. Henry, who we'd like to move back to backup quarterback. And we have John Hall. So if Biggs leaves, you're probably looking at Jeff Henry will be a junior redshirt, has not taken one carry. Or we do have the big fella coming in. The big recruit. I believe he's like a 75 or so. But that's a big question mark. I don't have an answer for you. Next question.
Hey, Coach, what do you think of the rumors that Texas University bought out all the tickets to the Rose Bowl because they were worried about the Wyoming boosters coming in and taking over? Sure looked like it in the crowd.
I'll tell you what. I heard some rumblings of Texas doing that because I know, look, our boosters, the fan base, I know there's been a lot of travel asked of them, but I also know the booster pockets run deep. There's a lot of agriculture money in the pockets of our boosters. There's a lot of big-time boosters that own more land, more crops in multiple states. So I know there's a highfalutin booster. So I thought something was a little awry. And so I tend not to speculate on rumors, but knowing what happens down there at that university wouldn't surprise me. Looks like it didn't work. Next question.
Hey, Coach Chan. First of all, great season to the boys.
Yo, thanks,
my question
Aaron.
is this. What do you say to all the Kirk Herbstreets of the world who, haven't exactly been the biggest supporters of you and the team and the boys? What do you say to them now that you've been so successful?
Yo, Aaron, great question. What do we say to the Kirk Herbstreits, the naysayers of the Wyoming program? All we have to say to them is nothing. Kirk, if you're watching right now, look, just slide your eyes down below the horizon. You see those 3 massive platinum trophies? You see the Rose Bowl trophy behind you in the press room? Kirk, just getting started. There's going to be more trophies in there than you've seen in your entire life, Kirk. That's what we say to them. Next question.
Hey there, Coach Gheesling. This is longtime booster Jackson Smith. Wanted to come at you with a game of Guess the Sound. Tell me if you know what this is. Crack open a Cool Dawn. Let's go. Looking forward to moving to a new division, winning a new title. Wondering if you would speak to any of the rumors that you're bringing Wyoming to the Mid-American Conference.
I'll tell you what. First and foremost, there are no cans allowed in the press room. We only allow pop bottles, so I'll give you credit for sneaking that in there. Cole Don appreciated that. He's getting ready for the combine right now, but he got a chuckle out of that. In terms of the Mid-American Conference, a lot of people are expecting us to go to a Power 5. I was trying to keep that MAC thing under wraps because we want to surprise some people. There's some quality ball to be played in the MAC, but I'd be a little bit concerned for our boosters if we made a lateral move. If we go from the Mountain West to the MAC versus Mountain West to a Power 5, we'll see what happens, though. Next question.
Coach Gheesling, first of all, congratulations on a very successful season for your Wyoming.
Hey, thanks, Daniel.
There have been rumblings in the media of this Wyoming team being called a one-trick pony due to its reliance on Bigelow and the run game as a whole. How would you respond to these claims?
To those claims, I would say, you know what? Maybe to your surprise, I would say that there's some validity to that. You guys know when we came in and took over this program, we stressed a balanced offense. A balanced offense doesn't allow the defense to know what's coming. Is it a run? Is it a pass? Is it play action? But when you're dishing the ball off, handing it off 35-plus times a game, I think that is a cause for concern. It's something we're going to try to get away from. Although I wouldn't call us a one-trick pony. If you're going to call us anything, call us based on history. We're a 3-trick pony. And we got 3 platinum trophies to show for it. Next question.
Head coach Dan Houston. There's been a lot of talk about moving into a new conference.
Something's wrong with his mic.
To move on from Go Wild.
Something's wrong with his mic. Can we get this guy a new mic? Next question.
Hello, Dan.
That's better.
This is Patrick Goodhart.
Oh, Mr. Goody.
I wanted to ask you, with this new move to a new conference, will you commit to a more professional style of offense?
I don't know if that was a backhanded insult. More professional. What's more professional than running your sets, handing the ball off 30 times, the same 2 plays, dive and inside zone, sprinkling a little read option? I wouldn't call it more professional, but oddly enough, we're going to start instituting some of our connects in the NFL to help us modernize this offense a little bit. I think you'll never get away from Wyoming football to be running our sets, running the read option. That's always going to be a staple. But I do think our passing game is you're going to be surprised in Season 5. Next question.
Hey, Coach Gheesling. I just wanted to say congrats on a fantastic year.
Yo, thanks, Luke.
MWC, the Rose Bowl, and going 13-1.
Let's go. That sounds great.
Like Samson, who were able to step up big time, as well as Bigelow. Speaking of Bigelow, there have been rumors going around that he wants to come back and play for another year. Now it's on you to make that happen. I'm also excited to see what conference you'll end up going to. Heard offers from the Big 12, the Big 10, the Pac-12, etc. If you also don't mind, could you check to see where our class ranks nationally in recruiting? I think this has been the best year so far for that. Anyway, congrats, go Wyo, and I wish you the best in the future. Go Blue, beat State.
Hey, I was just about to extend that kid an internship inside the walls of Wyoming. Then he takes a shot at our alma mater. Thank you for the question. You know what? Ask and you shall receive. Let's go check out where we ranked nationally on the last, I don't know if he's talking this recruiting class or last recruiting class, but nonetheless, we could check it out. Also, thank you for the kind words. Look at that. Number 8, 13-1. Let's see if it'll let us check out our recruiting map. You know, we'll take a look at the top classes here. I think this is a good time to do this. I didn't even know that. We're not done yet. We got a top 10 recruiting class. Yo, Luke, to answer your question, 6 4-stars, 10 3-stars, and we're not done yet. Thank you for asking that question. Next question.
What is going on, Coach? It is El Real Tristan.
Yo, El Real, what's good?
Michigan.
I see you out there in the
Boosters
Battle Creek,
Club,
Harper Creek area.
Ohio. And the Los Hermanos would love to give you congratulations for not 1, not 2, but 3 Mountain West Conference.
It's time to go now, boys. It's time to go.
Rose Bowl championship, a 13-1 season. That is an impressive feat. Congratulations to
Thank
you
you.
and the team. We would love to personally send you a big booster briefcase. We also would love to see you in the Pac-12 and possibly a neutral sighting game. Well, once again, congratulations. You guys are an inspiration for everybody. And go Wild.
Yo, Tristan, thank you for the call from Michigan. I know it's been difficult for you to get some games. I know you got a new coffee shop in Southwest Michigan. You're trying to staff that thing, get it up and running. But the games that you went to, we appreciate you. In terms of boosters, you know, that's what it's about right there. You take care of these kids. You go to as many games as possible. You share the love. You let your friends know about what's going on in WYO. You try to get them on board. You convert them from their, you know, maybe they like the Wolf Pack. You get them in here and get them into Cowboys. Next question.
Hi, Coach Dan. I just want to say, firstly, congratulations on your Coach of the Year award.
Thanks, Ross.
But I do want to touch on the future of WYO football. So Sean Chambers has been with us for about 4 years now.
Chambers.
And since then, he has been with us for the thick and thin of our development.
He has.
Against schools like Notre Dame, LSU, Colorado State, just to name a few. Even when he's on the sidelines, he is supporting us and leading us towards a BCS game championship. But what I want to ask you is, do you think that Sampson is ready to take the role of Chambers as he departs us this year? Let me know what you think, and go Wild.
I think that's a very dialed-in question because people see Sampson out there taking the snaps, but they don't see what Chambers does. He's dabbing up all his players. He's in the headset with Sampson, telling him the hot reads from the sideline. He's signaling the calls. I don't know. You know, I like to believe Sampson's ready. You know, he's on the field. He's been incredible in the classroom. He's getting better. I'd like to see him step up a little bit. You know, we're gonna have some leadership training for him. We're gonna put him in the Elite 11 with Peyton Manning. And I think he's going to be ready. He's not there yet. He's got to have a great offseason, but I think he's going to be ready. Next question.
Hey, Coach G. Thanks for taking my question.
Yo, Brown of Canada.
Congratulations on yet another historic season with the Wyoming Cowboys.
Open a
It's amazing to see the turnaround that this team has experienced throughout your tenure as our head coach. I got a direct football question for you, so I'll jump right into it. This season, we saw Sampson take the reins as our quarterback and settle into his role as our go-to field general. That being said, his in-game audibles showed a tendency to go for the exact same home run, 4 vertical ball in almost every situation. By the end of the year, defenses had caught on to this style of play
100%.
and they snuffed out almost every attempt. My question is this: can we as loyal WYO boosters expect a shake-up to our playbook in advance of next season, or will we see a repeat of the exact same sets that all of our opponents now have a year of film on? Thanks for taking my question, and hashtag go WYO.
Brown of Canada. I just want to let you know, I carried this book around with me everywhere. You know, when you talk to a lot of boosters, there's a lot of great ideas, and I think you brought something to light that maybe we brushed under the rug just because we won the Rose Bowl. Every time we audibled out, we went 4 verts. Now you'll catch a few teams, and you know I think we probably had more success than we should have. But right here, audibles. That's on the #1 to-do list right outside of West Coast offense. So when you come out season 5, you're going to get a few sideline passes, but more importantly than your sideline passes to the game, when you see us go under center, we run read option, and you see 9 in the box, and we audible out for the first time, and it's not 4 verts, know that it's because of Braun from Canada. Braun of the Blackwater. Next question. Thank you for that, by the way.
Coach Gheesling, Care to comment on the ongoing investigation into finely ground resin found in San Diego State's locker room 3 weeks ago? And do you think illegal use of resin cost your team an undefeated season?
Look, when we played San Diego State, their head coach is a colleague of mine, and they had a great game plan. I did hear rumblings of the illegal substance known as resin being placed in a certain electrolyte bottles they were drinking during the game. However, I don't address any rumors, especially about other teams. One thing you learn from Wyoming football, you stay in your lane. You don't comment on other people. You don't worry what other people are doing. We just do what we do. Now, if the fans want to dig in a little bit deeper, if the investigative journalists want to dig in a little bit deeper into the use of resin in San Diego State's victory over us, I'll let the professionals handle that. But I will not comment on any malfeasance on any other programs. But thanks for bringing that to our attention. Next question.
Hey Dan, Lucidity here. Been watching your stuff for a while.
Big Lou.
Digging it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I started watching you back around. You started playing PUBG with NL in the group, but
excuse me. You must have me confused with someone else as the head coach of Wyoming. I dedicate 1,000,000% of my time to this program. There should be no record of me playing PUBG with some friends every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/Dan Gheesling.
just want to say, good win in the championship, bringing home that Rose Bowl. I think we can convince Biggs to come back for another season. All you have to do is tell him that he'll get the Heisman if he comes back.
Now, here's the thing. Lou, if you notice in 4 seasons, we haven't made a single promise. And when Biggs came, I said, come here, run your sets, the awards will come. He felt a little personally insulted at the lack of Heisman respect. And this goes to any parents out there watching that are thinking about sending their kids to Wyoming. I will never, ever look a recruit in the face and promise him something that we cannot deliver on. I cannot promise him he's going to win the Heisman. What I can promise him is a great education, learning how to run his sets, and being connected to a booster network that could place him in a job anywhere from Southwest Michigan to the far, far corners of Alaska. That's how wide the booster network runs. That's what I can promise him. When you send your kid to Wyoming football, I'm not promising accolades. All that stuff comes in due time. I know the boosters were upset about it, but I'm hoping that fuels Biggs to come back for one more season. Next question.
Huge fan of Wyoming now. Kind of got onto the bandwagon a little bit late, but
it's okay. You can't always be the first.
I think that you should go to the Pac-12. A lot of people have said it makes the most sense geographically, and I think that it would be a good fit for the Cowboys. Keep up the good work, Coach.
Yo, thank you so much. I think that's something to be said for having geographic location. Being in the Pac-12 allows some boosters to maybe hop in their caravans, hop in their 2009 Ford Escapes, drive to a few games instead of giving Delta all that money. Next question.
Hey Dan, you mentioned throughout the season that you'd be removing some of the plays with pulling linemen from the playbook.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on what you'll be replacing them with? Personally, I'd like to see some more short or play action passes, but I'm interested to know what you think. Congrats on the big bowl game win, and I'm excited to see what conference the Cowboys are headed to next season. Thanks.
Yo, Charlie brings up a great point. We talked about it all season long. We just never made the corrections to our install. We're gonna pull out our pulling linemen, the 90% of them, because the kind of OKG linemen that we get, they're big fellas. They're run blockers. They're downhill. And, I think you should look for some short sets to be run, short aerial attack sets to be run, and maybe a couple little trick formations too. That's what you should look for. All right, last question.
Hello, Mr. Gheesling. My name is Jan. I'm an exchange student from Germany.
Jan!
Unfortunately, I ended up doing my year abroad in Laramie, and
unfortunately,
the Wyoming Cowboys are the only source of entertainment in this whole state. So I was wondering, if you end up changing conferences, you will have to probably change up your playbook and tactics too. You were talking about it a lot. What exactly have you planned?
I'll tell you what, these press conferences are very helpful to the development of our program. And in every press conference, there's like 2 or 3 pressing issues. And it's like, you got a pressing issue, you can't not address it. It will be addressed. And in this one, it was what conference, and we got to run some short sets. And I'm really excited for the first time in the history of the program. Later on today, we're going to make the announcement right now, inviting you into the offensive staff room as we pick and choose, remove plays. Later on today, youtube.com/Dan Gheesling. Get your sets run. Come watch as we develop the Season 5 playbook. Get yourself ready to some unprecedented offensive access like never before. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to all the boosters that sent in questions. I know there were some we didn't get to. Some came in a little late. Some people had some microphone problems. But I want to address one thing. There's a couple people said, hey, Coach, congrats on your 3 championships. Not mine. It takes a village to run sets. And I would just personally like to thank every booster that came out, whether they gave $1 booster dollar, 1 booster like, or 450 in the Notre Dame game. We appreciate your support. We're having a lot of fun building this program. But I'm going to tell you one thing. We ain't seen nothing yet.